Good morning, traders. This is Jay Temez, and I am here trading the live market. We are looking at the micro S&P futures contract. So, market's about to open. We got about 10 seconds, and I wanted to show you how I enter a trade and just do that live. I'm going to be using the micros so that I don't risk a lot of money while I'm focusing on creating this video. Market just opened, so we see a lot of volume coming in. I have two contracts that I'm going to be trading today. I have over on my left hand side, my main screen is a 610 tick chart. So a bar is created every 610 ticks. I'm sorry, every 610 ticks. So we're waiting to see something. Looks like we're formulating to the downside, and I think I'm going to be entering a trade soon. I'm looking for a wholesale entry. It's really building up some weakness to the downside. There it is. I think that's where I'm going to get in. Let it build back up, and I think that's where I want to get in. So there it is. I'm in. We're going to see if I can achieve my 10 tick target. I'm going to keep my risk right above the high, the swing high. There's a lot of volume coming in. It looks like it might have been premature. We'll see. There we go. Now it's closing down. Now if this was the regular S&P, this would be risking $12.50 a tick. Right now I'm doing about $1.25 a tick, so it's very low risk. There we go, we hit it. So that would have been roughly $230 had that been the regular S&P. But like I said, we wanted to really minimize our risk while making the video. That normally would be a wrap for me. I would do my one and done trade on two contracts on the mini S&P. So that would have been a quick, $200. I would have closed it up. Now, if the market's really moving and I really, feel like continuing, I guess I would wait for another wholesale entry and take it again, kind of up here by this Keltner channel, right here in this area. Or if you look on the 610, so this is the 233 tick chart, and I use this for my entries. I kind of use the 610 as like a higher time frame, much like if someone was to use an hour chart, say on the left hand side, and then they'd use like a 5-minute or a 1-minute chart over here on the right side to gauge an entry. It looks like it's setting up for another good entry here. I think I might take one. It looks like about where I like it. I think that's where I'm taking it, right there. Oops, that's not how many I wanted. Let's kill that one. There we go. And that's a little premature, maybe. We'll see. Okay, so I'm in a trade. I got two contracts up. I just wanted to show you how, I would be entering my trades. So I'm looking for a wholesale entry, and there it just took I think it just hit my target. Actually, it bounced off one of them, and so I collected one of the entries. It took a while to register, but you can see by the exit point, it did get me out where my target was. Sometimes when the market's really moving fast, like close to the open, it'll take a while for the exit, to fill, or sometimes the entry as well. So there's a lot of volume here. So you know what? I think I'm done for the day. I got about $50 up. This would have been about 500 had it been the S&P Mini. I would be done for the day. I'd wrap it up, and I think I will now. But I want to take the time really quick, since I have you here, to show you how I have my charts laid out. A lot of people ask me, like, how do you set up your charts? So I'm going to explain it really quick. Of course, we went over the 610 chart, 610 ticks. I have the some different indicators you can see on these charts, and I'll go over those at a different time. But you can see we have these tick-based charts, which look very much like traditional candlesticks, and then we have the parabolic, what's called the PSAR Many of you are probably familiar with this indicator. You can see the pink and the blue. I don't really use it heavily, but I leave it on there to kind of remind me, what sentiment is in the direction that we're going. So on the bottom ends, you can see I have the CCI, the Commodity Channel Index, set standard settings, and I look for oversold and overbought readings on here. So you can see when we entered our trades, we kind of were close on the commodity channel index up to this high side over 100 or close to 100, which registers kind of overbought, which means we could potentially swing back to the downside. But I wasn't really paying attention to it. I was really focused on price action on those two trades. So you can see my two entries were almost perfect. You couldn't have asked for better. I could have rode this down a little instead of having a fixed target. Sometimes I'll remove the target and simply follow the stop down, but it's a little tricky when you're closer to open because you really don't know what it's going to do. I mean, if you look here on the second trade, I took my wholesale entry very close to that Keltner channel. Oh, that's the other thing I want to explain really quick. So you see this little lines here. Some people might identify these similar to like Bollinger Bands, but this is called a Keltner channel, and it really helps me. You can see when you're looking at the angle of the outside Keltner channels and then the middle band, it kind of tells you if they're all facing downwards. That's like you would use a moving average to help detect that you are going, price is moving downward versus if it's going sideways, or if those bands are all moving upwards. It just helps me determine very quickly which way price action is taking us. Like right now it's starting to move sideways. We're still in downward negative sentiment, but we're starting to show signs of maybe consolidating and moving sideways. So that's what the Keltner channel is what I use for that. And then I have the True Strength Index. So I use that again to just help determine market sentiment. You can see here the zero band, and our True Strength Index is below that center band, which kind of confirms that we're in negative sentiment, downward pressure. Here it looks like it shows here on the True Strength Index that we're kind of starting to go sideways. It's crossing, above the zero, below the zero. It's starting to touch above. So the Keltner channel is starting to level out. So we could be consolidating and moving sideways, or reversing. I mean, it's hard to tell, but you can see this yellow line I have here. This is the time series forecast. I have it set to 89 periods, and I just look for the direction. The literal tip kind of helps me determine if it's pointed upwards. Then it gives me sort of confirmation that we're moving to the upside. If it's sideways like it is now, it means that we're consolidating or not making any decisions which direction the market wants to go. If it's pointed downward, it kind of confirms that we're moving in a downward momentum. So I kind of use that as, just like I said, confirmation. All of these indicators do the same thing. They're just ones that I'm comfortable using. You need to find the ones that you're comfortable with. So, okay, I'll move over to the left. I have the 1 minute chart. I don't really use the 1 minute chart to trade. I use it for confirmation of a couple things. I like to have the moving average ribbon, which is, I think I have this set for 200 on the blue, and then I have the red set at 50, and then the green is 20 period moving averages. And then here's the important thing that I really need from this 1 minute chart, and I depend on it heavily. That's volume. So you can see here I have a line drawn here at about 1,000, at the 1,000, or actually let me see, I'm sorry, this one's set at 3,000. So I have it set at 3,000 on this micro S&P. That gives me a gauge. You can see before market opened, right here where this long volume bar is, it just spiked up. That was market open at 8:30. Anything before that, you can see there was no volume activity, very low volume. And when market opened, volume spiked up. I like to see an average very close to that 3,000 mark when I'm trading the micro ES, the micro S&P. So if that starts dying down, you'll see a decay in volume, and starting to really get too low. That is very difficult to trade in because the market becomes unpredictable. it just gets real volatile when there's thin, they call that thin volume. So then down here, the next pane, we see the 5-minute chart. Like I said, I don't really use the 5-minute to trade with. I use it as confirmation of a trend. And here you can see right now all three charts that I have on the left here. This is the 60-minute chart down here. So I have the 1-minute, the 5-minute, and the 60-minute. They all are showing negative sentiment. We are in a very bearish environment for the micro S&P. So even the sideways consolidation that I see on my 233 chart, forgive me, I'm just going to move this over. Here we go. So on this 233 chart, we are still in a downtrend. I'm in no belief that we are actually moving to the upside. I think after this consolidation, we're probably going to continue moving down based on all of this very negative sentiment in price action. And that's confirmed from the 1-minute, the 5-minute, the 60-minute, the 610 chart, and this 233 chart. So I have here the chalk-in money flow index here. I don't use that heavily, but every once in a while, especially on my entry chart, I like to just see if a bunch of negative volume is coming in. I kind of compare that to the volume chart I have over here on the 1-minute. I like to see lots of volume, or at least an average that is above or at or close to that 3,000 mark on the 1-minute, and then over here that chalk and money flow, where that volume that is coming in is either negative or positive. And you can see, you know, all this negative volume that came in was pushing the market down again. We're in a negative sentiment, so chances are I want to be taking my trades from these high pivots. I don't want to be selling or shorting down here, and I certainly don't want to be buying the market. I don't want to be buying long. I want to be definitely shorting this market, at least from what all these charts tell me right now. So I hope that helped. If you want to learn more, certainly hop on my YouTube page and leave a comment. Let me know if you have any questions. I can help explain whatever I can, either directly on the page or through instant or direct messaging. Okay, well, that wraps it up for this morning. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.